Okay, I will tell you a story of how this all started. Okay, but disclaimer: this video is going to many of you are going to find this video cringe and creepy, but some of you will find this video relatable and solution to your problems. So, without wasting time, let's go. Number one. See, one day it was I was in 7th standard, and what happened was puberty hits, and all my friends were in this group, and one guy starts talking about porn because he discovered porn, and he had research on the topic after discovering that, and went through all the celebrities in that scenario or section and the categories of that section. And what happened was he was discussing, and day after day the peer pressure builds, and everyone was at this point watching and saying the next day what they was and how they did it, blah blah blah. And what happens, this peer pressure forces me to get on the same path. So what happens, one day I was home alone, and there's a computer in my home, and mostly my parents were never home. They were both working, and my siblings were also working. Well, they had college at this point. And what happened, no one was there at home, and I turned on the computer, went to the said website, and I browsed 2-3 videos, and I jumped off. And the next day I was very hyped up to go to school and say what I did, and I did. I went to school and I said what I did, and everyone was hyped about it, that I did it. I jerked off to a porn star. Now, what happened is that slowly I started getting addicted to the whole scenario. And whenever I used to be at home, I was not that busy. No one is busy when they're in 7th standard. When I was at home and I was free, I used to turn on the computer and watch a porn and jerk off. This thing increased day by day, and at some point it increased to 2 to 3 times, and slowly it increased to 4 times. And then when it reached 4 times, I knew it had to stop. Now, the thing that no one tells you about porn is that it manipulates you, on a subconscious level. It makes you anxious in front of women, and you lose confidence. How many times you try to stop this habit, you lose and you relapse, and it affects your self-esteem. You start sexualizing every woman you get. Everyone will see, in fact, that in real life, in Facebook or Instagram or even in YouTube, you being so exhausted from jerking off throughout the day, you lose motivation to work, to study. You lose your focus, and the saddest thing, it generates an urge in you for the intimate connection that was not present before, but it generates now. Now, this went on still the 10th standard, and I was helpless. Every time I tried to stop, I used to go 2 to 3 days, and then I used to relapse. And my self-esteem took a toll at this point. But one night actually, I was lying in my bed. I was in 11th standard, and I found this video on self-improvement. This particular content creator actually helped me a lot in my journey, and he actually taught about improving yourself in aspects of reading a book, listening to podcasts, working out, journaling, and a lot of like this scenarios. And I improved. I found the whole concept of self-improvement a lot confusing, because I did not know what I was heading into, but it actually helped. After I started doing those things like working out, I started working out in like class 11, at the end of class standard 11, and I started feeling good. I started journaling. I started feeling good. I won't say he actually solved the whole problem, because that part was on me, but he actually helped. And little by little, this whole thing started reducing itself. Like, I used to get temptations to jerk, but I did not, because, and this number of times it got less, and the temptations used to got reduced significantly. Now, I used to get temptations, but I relapsed a number of times, but Slowly, I observed some things that I had more focus, I had more motivation, I had more energy, and I was more confident. I had more self-esteem, and I knew how to carry myself. Before that, I did not. My self-esteem was so low that I used to get nervous even when a girl was in the same room with me. Now I know a lot of men struggle from the same problem because I struggle, and the saddest part of the whole struggle was that I never got someone to go in the whole scenario. Like, I never had someone to whom I could go and say what actually happened. It was so embarrassing, and the whole scenario, when you are just relapsing and relapsing, you lose your self-esteem so much that you just feel ashamed in front of people. And this is a struggle that no one talks about. And I know many teenagers, so many people suffer this problem, and I so we want to help you. So now getting to a solution. This is going to be a hard part because porn is something that is not a substance. It's it is an deliberate attempt to keep men docile. The more men are docile, the less is the competition for the high performing men. So it's an attempt and they succeed. So if for you to break this cycle, you need to improve in every aspect of your life, because the number one is avoiding triggers. When you are trying to break a habit, you need to be self-conscious of what that habit starts from where that habit starts from. What is that particular trigger that actually provokes you to do that path? Now, to understand that trigger, that can be anything. That can be boredom, that can be being alone, that can be social media accounts. If that's the case, just unfollow and unsubscribe. But you have to be very self-conscious because this is going to be a hard path. And from that, we come to point number two: find purpose. Because when you have a purpose, when you have a goal, you just won't waste your time jerking off, scrolling to porn. You will invest your time into yourself, into your goal, into your ambition, so that you work. So finding a particular passion is important. That can be anything. That can be studying to become a good student, that can be working out to become stronger, that can be dressing better to become more attractive, that can be starting a new side hustle to earn some bucks. The list goes on, but that's up to you. The point where I said it's more than just avoiding triggers. It's about finding purpose, because the best way to beat an addiction is through another addiction. And I'm not saying to just go and find weed. No, just find your purpose, because once you get into the purpose, that shit is addictive. And number three, the most important and point is find good people to surround yourself with. Because just consider it for 1 minute. The whole scenario of me being or getting hooked on this thing won't happen if I had a good set of friends, or if I had a good group of friends. If I had a good group of friends, they would have never went. They would have never gone in the particular direction they went, and then I would have not gone in the particular direction that I went. So always surround yourself with good people, even if they are good people, and the problem doesn't arise from them. You should be able to go to them with the problem, to find a solution, to consult them for their support, because everyone is dealing with life and everything is hard. As a man, even as a woman, everything is hard. But you should always know to find people who genuinely want good for you and want you to improve in every aspect of your life. And these are the things that only friends can do. You wouldn't be able to go to your parents with the same problem of masturbation and porn addiction, but you could go to your friends and they would say how to live, how to improve, how to disengage, how to stop being a degenerate, only if they are not one. If you find this video helpful, I know some of you did, drop us a like and please comment of about your problem. I want to know how your struggle is, and I will try to help you out more. See you.